Hey guys, it's Sid again, bringing you some news from the front, I guess you might be able to call it. We had a managers meeting at my work today, and it went kind of predictably. You know, we talked about how we have to do schedules differently because we're spending too much money on labor, and how it's unacceptable that it's taking some of us more than an hour to close when we have less people and we're being left over with all the mid shifts and breakfast shifts stuff to still do. And of course, it got covered, thankfully, that they're also absolutely displeased that mid shift isn't getting stuff done. So my shift's in trouble for taking so long because we're left with everybody's crap, and everybody else's shifts are in trouble because they aren't actually doing anything. So I'm really if mid shift would just get their stuff done, if I'm not left with breakfast dishes when I come in at 4 or 5 o'clock, that we're still trying to get through at 7 or 8 because of dinner rushes. We only the way they have shifts set up now, we close with 3 people total, including myself. We might have a 4th person until about 3 hours before we close, but it's just the 3 of us after that. And I might have one more person for that dinner rush, or maybe 5 people you can kind of expect to have, and maybe a 6th one if somebody's told us and warned us ahead that there's like a game, and yes, they are definitely bringing in like a bus full of kids, then I might get a 6th person. But all I've got are somebody on back drive-through, I've got somebody on front counter, I've got one person on grill, I got myself, and maybe I'll have one more person to throw on grill, or if we're super busy, a runner. That's it. That's all the people we got. There's no downtime for somebody to be going by and doing everybody else's job. So the fact that I'm getting in trouble, that it's taking me longer to get out of there, it doesn't make any sense. I have taken to taking pictures and documenting every time mid-shift doesn't get something done that it takes me and my crew forever to get through because it's bullshit. And I actually bypassed the GM and gave it to the store owner who was at the store today. And I think that's part of why mid-shift is finally starting to feel the heat instead of me for keeping people a little late because they volunteer to stay late to get stuff done, and telling them deliberately that they can't work off the clock. That is kind of illegal. I know, I do it. You shouldn't do it. And I don't let them because it is highly illegal. And it's one thing for me to do it as a manager when there's nobody above me. I work through my breaks. I sometimes don't even take them. The store is probably actually going to get in trouble if we ever get audited because of me as it is. But if it's just me, then they could argue that it's a single person, as opposed to if a crew and other people started doing it, in which case it looks like what's the word? Looks like it might be sort of hand waved or encouraged, or it might even be pushed by people who are doing schedules and stuff, in which case that would get the store in a lot of trouble. So that went all right, but the thing I really wanted to talk about was that I brought up a certain customer who comes in, and we're a really small store, so he'll be the only person in there, and he'll be there for hours. He'll be there for hours. He pays for his dollar coffee, medium, 2 creams, 2 sugars. If you've worked with me, you know who this guy is. Sits there for hours, doesn't talk to anybody, just gets refills on his coffee, getting 1 less cream and sugar in it each time he gets it till he gets it black. Goes to the bathroom about every 20 minutes, which I don't know what you're doing in there, dude. As long as you don't leave evidence in there for me to pick up or for somebody to find or clean up or to find later, So that looks like I'm kind of giving the okay, go ahead for you to be doing whatever you're doing in there. You're the only person in there. I don't know your life. As long as you're not causing me grief or anybody else grief, I don't care. Shoot up, masturbate, fuck it. Just as long as it's not affecting anybody else, I'm not finding evidence of your activities in there, I don't care. And I probably actually legally can't interfere because for all I know you have a medical condition, and me bringing it up and saying, hey, you can't use the bathroom that often could probably bring a lawsuit to McDonald's, so I'm not going to do it. But the problem with him is that he doesn't, he doesn't talk at all, which is fine. I really actually don't want to talk to customers, but he doesn't say anything except to take, his order. And then all night, he chooses the one table where he can sit and see all the way back through the kitchen, and he just stares at whatever girl is up front at the time, and he just stares and stares and stares. Even when you look at him and you guys lock eyes, he'll look away for half a second, and then as soon as he thinks you're not looking at him anymore, he resumes his staring. And it makes me really uncomfortable. It makes my front counter person and any of the girls I work with that have to come up front at all really uncomfortable. And I brought him up at the managers meeting. I asked, hey, I never learned about this in any of my classes. It's gotten to the point where I don't feel comfortable because he's just staring and staring, and it's so unnerving. I don't feel comfortable going out into the lobby and getting my stuff done before we close. I actually took last night to kicking him out about 20 minutes early, lying to him about what time it is so that I could get my lobby stuff done comfortably, because I could go into the bathrooms. He knows better than to fall. He can't go into the girls' room, and that door doesn't have a door stop right now because it's our store. And so, he can't. You can do that one. He won't follow you into the men's room because I think we confronted him about that once before when he did that with one of the guys who was working. Like, hey, if it's being cleaned, you can't be in there. But you can't. I don't feel like I can comfortably sweep and mop the lobby because he's just staring. And I brought him up. I'm like, I don't want to necessarily kick him out. I don't, whatever. I'm chill. Can I just confront him about this? Can we say something about the staring? Can we say, hey, that it's unwelcome, it's making everybody uncomfortable. Could you please actually not do that? And it turns out that unless he does something physically, like making gestures or actually touching somebody, or he's saying something that could be just staring, isn't bad enough that we can confront him. So I'm a little pissed off, because if we can't work somewhere where we can feel comfortable working because we have a creeper of customer in the lobby, and like most of the girls that work there aren't even 18 yet, some of them are barely 16, and he's just unashamedly staring at him. I think next time one of the cops come through drive-thru, I'm gonna bring him up and say, is there something maybe we can do about this, and kind of go behind my management's back, because this is getting really bad. But yeah, I think it's bullshit, and I just really wanted to complain about it, to be honest. It's, I don't know. I'm doing more and more applications, and I'm hopefully going to get out of there soon. But if I quit, there's a couple of the crew who have told me that if I ever quit, they wouldn't be that far behind, which I don't know. It says something. I mean, I'm not saying I'm the only good manager. In fact, I'm definitely not. There's just 2 or 3 people who are a little more problematic, and there's just people who have personality conflicts with other people. Like I brought up in another video, that's completely understandable. That's a normal thing. You don't always get along with everybody. But I don't want to knock off 4 or 5 people off the roster by me leaving. But then again, me leaving isn't about my store's comfort level or anything. It's about me and me trying to find a job where I can get paid what I feel like I deserve. Like, and it's not like I'm looking to hop off the train for the next, whatever. I'm only looking at jobs where I'd be making $22,000 or more a year, and I made $16,000 last year. So I'm looking for a huge jump of $500 more a month or more than what I'm making now. So it's not like I'm trying to hop off the McDonald's train just because it's McDonald's or just because how I feel about the store. It's that I need this money. It's something I really can't be putting off for a whole lot longer because I'm looking to be going back to Vegas soon, and I probably would not be able to afford it at this rate. I need to save up the money. And I don't know, I have mixed feelings about it. I know it's going to upset people when I leave, and that I haven't been discussing it with the GM or the store owner because I don't expect them to give me that huge a raise. Like, I'd appreciate it if I were making $10 an hour, like was kind of promised to me, but I know right now we also can't afford it with the way waste has been and stat loss, which is the missing food, has been, and the way sales have been down, and we've been trying to bring up the transaction counts. Like, I know all of these things make it really hard to give me the raise I was promised just yet, but it's been a while and I can't keep this up. I'm an adult. I need to start. I can't just be living on the barely skimming by for the rest of my life. I need to start getting to a place where I'm not relying on my grandparents for housing, and I'm not, it's time for me to grow up. It's time for me to get a job that can really sustain me, and that's really all it is. I still know it's going to cause a lot of drama, though, when I eventually leave. I hope it's sooner rather than later. One, because I'd like to get back to Vegas. I'd like to get back to where I actually belong. And 2, the sooner I start making the money, the sooner I have it. And that's basically everything I wanted to bitch about. My job sucks bitching video. Done.